"Don't jump," said a janitor, pulling her from the bridge. She turned out to be the CEO's daughter. The rain hammered against Marcus Thompson's weathered hands as he gripped the steering wheel of his beat-up Honda, squinting through the windshield wipers that had seen better days. At 52, he'd learned that storms don't jump, said a janitor, pulling her from the bridge. She turned out to be the CEO's daughter, but tonight felt different. The city lights blurred into watercolor streaks as he drove home from another 14-hour shift cleaning the gleaming floors of Meridian Financial Tower, where men in $1,000 suits stepped over him like he was invisible. He almost didn't stop, almost drove past the hunched figure standing on the wrong side of the Riverside Bridge's guardrail, silhouetted against the churning darkness of the river below. But something in the way she stood, her shoulders shaking, not from cold but from something deeper on, made him pull over. The hazard lights blinked orange against the storm as Marcus stepped into the downpour, his janitor's uniform already soaked before he'd taken 3 steps. "Hey there," he called out, his voice gentle despite the chaos around them. "It's pretty nasty out here. How about we get you somewhere warm?" The young woman turned, and Marcus saw a face that belonged in magazines, not on bridge railings in the middle of a tempest. Her designer dress was ruined, mascara streaking down porcelain cheeks, but her eyes, those eyes held a pain that made his chest tighten. She couldn't have been older than 25. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the storm. "Just leave me alone. Nobody will even notice I'm gone." Marcus had heard those words before, felt them in his own bones during the dark months after Sarah died, when cancer took his wife and left him drowning in medical bills and emptiness. He knew that particular flavor of despair. "I'll notice," he said simply, stepping closer but not too close. "And I'm somebody." She laughed, but it came out broken. "You don't understand. I've ruined everything. My father, he trusted me with everything, and I destroyed it all. The company, the employees, they're for Melissa. I'm supposed to be this brilliant businesswoman, but I'm just a fraud who cost thousands of people their jobs." Marcus recognized the building shame, the weight of feeling responsible for other people's pain. He'd carried it when Sarah's treatment bankrupted them, when he had to sell a house, when he couldn't afford the experimental therapy that might have saved her. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Elena," she said, her voice cracking. "Elena Meridian." The name hit Marcus like a physical blow. Meridian, as in Meridian Financial, the company whose floors he'd mopped every night for 3 years. The company that had laid off 800 employees last month after what the newspapers called catastrophic investment losses. This was Richard Meridian's daughter, the heir apparent who'd apparently gambled away millions on a tech startup that turned out to be smoke and mirrors. But looking at her now, Marcus didn't see the privileged heiress the media painted her as. He saw a young woman drowning in the same guilt and self-hatred that had nearly consumed him. "Elena, I work in your father's building," Marcus said quietly. "I've seen the photos of you two in the lobby. I know what happened with the company." She flinched as if he'd slapped her. "Then you know why I can't face him. Why I can't face any of them. I'm the reason families are struggling. I'm the reason kids might not go to college. I'm poison." "You made a mistake," Marcus said, rain streaming down his face. "A big one. Sure. But jumping off this bridge won't bring those jobs back, won't pay those mortgages. All it'll do is add one more tragedy to an already tough situation." "You don't get it," Elena sobbed. "I had everything handed to me. I went to Harvard, had the best advisors, and I still managed to destroy everything my father built. Those people trusted me, and I failed them." Marcus thought about Mrs. Rodriguez from the 3rd floor, whose son played Little League, about James from accounting, who always said good morning even when Marcus was invisible to everyone else, about all the faces he'd seen cleaning up after them, the photos on their desks, the evidence of lives being lived. "I knew some of those folks who got laid off, Marcus said. Good people. Hard workers. And you know what? They wouldn't want this. They wouldn't want someone else's death on their conscience too. Elena's grip on the railing loosened slightly. How can you be kind to me? I probably cost you friends their jobs. Because kindness isn't a luxury item, Elena. It's something everyone deserves, especially when they're hurting. Marcus stepped closer. Close enough now that she could see the sincerity in his dark eyes. My wife died 2 years ago. Cancer. I blamed myself for months. So if I'd pushed for better insurance, if I'd noticed the symptoms earlier, if I'd been a better husband. Nearly drove me to a dark place too. What stopped you? A kid at the hospital. Couldn't have been more than 8 years old. Bald from chemo. Saw me crying in the parking lot, came over and gave me this. Marcus pulled out a crumpled piece of paper from his wallet, protected by plastic. It was a crayon drawing of a rainbow with words scrawled in a child's handwriting. Tomorrow might be better. Smart kid, Elena whispered. Wise beyond her years. Made me realize that tomorrow can't be better if you don't stick around to see it. Marcus extended his hand. Come on, Elena. Let's see what tomorrow brings. You can't fix yesterday, but you might be able to help someone tomorrow. For a long moment, the only sound was rain against concrete and the distant rush of the river below. Then Elena reached out and took his hand. It was surprisingly strong, calloused from years of honest work. As they stood there in the storm, Elena broke down completely. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to face all those people I hurt. One day at a time, Marcus said, steadying her as they climbed back over the guardrail. One conversation at a time. One small act of kindness at a time. 3 months later, Marcus was surprised to find Elena waiting for him in the lobby of Meridian Financial. She looked different, still beautiful, but there was something solid about her now, something earned. She was wearing jeans and a simple sweater, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. I've been looking for you, she said, standing up from one of the marble benches he polished every night. Everything okay, Miss Elena? Just Elena. And yes, everything's well, it's getting better. She smiled, and this time it reached her eyes. I wanted you to know we're reopening the consumer credit division. It means we can hire back about 200 people to start, maybe more if things go well. Marcus felt his throat tighten. That's wonderful news. There's more. I've been working with a non-profit that helps people get back on their feet after job loss. Financial counseling, RA-copyright, some A-copyright help. Interview coaching. I wanted to ask her, would you consider joining our board? We could use someone who understands what it's like to struggle, someone who knows how to show up for people when everything falls apart. Marcus stared at her, speechless. I mean, if you're interested. The position comes with a small salary, and we'd work around your schedule here. I know you've got bills to pay. Why me? Marcus asked. Because you saw a person on the worst night of her life and chose to stop. Because you know that kindness isn't about having much to give you, it's about giving what you can. Elena's voice grew thick with emotion. You saved my life, Marcus. Let me help you save a few others. 6 months after that, Marcus found himself in a conference room he used to clean, sitting across from executives he used to be invisible to, presenting a proposal for a employee assistance program. Elena sat beside him, no longer the broken woman from the bridge, but a leader who learned that true strength comes from admitting your mistakes and working to make them right. The way I see it, Marcus was saying to the boardroom, when people are drowning, you don't ask if they deserve a life preserver. You throw it and ask questions later. As the meeting ended with unanimous approval for the program, Elena walked Marcus to the elevator. Thank you, she said quietly, for stopping, for staying, for showing me that rock bottom can be a foundation instead of a grave. Marcus smiled, thinking of a rainbow drawing he still carried in his wallet and a wise little girl who taught him that tomorrow might be better. Thank you for proving her right. The elevator doors closed, and Marcus headed home to an apartment that wasn't much to look at but felt different now, fuller somehow, like it was part of something bigger. Outside, The city lights still blurred through rain-streaked windows, but tonight they looked less like chaos and more like a constellation of second chances. In his pocket, his phone buzzed with a text from Elena, employee assistance program approved. "We start Monday. You ready to change some lives?" Marcus typed back, "Born ready." He thought about Mrs. Rodriguez, about James from accounting, about all the people who would soon get second chances because someone had chosen to stop on a bridge and extend kindness to a stranger. Sometimes salvation comes in the most unexpected package. A janitor in a storm, a child's drawing, a CEO's daughter learning that falling down doesn't mean staying down. As he pulled into his parking space, Marcus looked up at his modest apartment building and smiled. Tomorrow might be better. In fact, he was starting to believe it would be.